I didn't reinvent myself. I molted. I molted uglily. Is that even a word? Well, it is now, and that's what I did. Like a snake in menopause, shedding everything but the bitterness. I didn't pivot. I came apart. When I was going through it, I said I was pivoting. I said I was reinventing. I even made videos about it because pivot sounds strategic. Reinvention sounds brave. But I didn't have a plan. I had a slow motion unraveling that looked a lot like forward movement, but only if you didn't look too closely. It was like running on a treadmill that was on fire. I was going nowhere, but really, really enthusiastically. I was getting praised for being resilient, and I was feeling nothing but hollow. My resume made me feel like I was reading a eulogy for someone that I never even liked. I kept looking at my LinkedIn profile like it was a missing persons report, except I was the one who disappeared. Who was that girl? I was spinning out with just enough polish to make it look intentional. Like, look at her go. She's losing everything, but with flair. There was just me, quietly peeling off all the versions of myself like the peeling skin of a sunburn that had been taped on over the years. I'd been calling that success. The achiever, the overfunctioner, the woman who could take care of everyone else without ever needing anything herself, that was me. And when I let those versions fall away, nothing rose up to replace them. There was no new identity waiting in the wings. Just space. Just quiet. Just me without the marketing. I was raw. The longer I stayed in that space, the more I realized that I didn't want to be rebuilt. I didn't want to be optimized or clarified or made more palatable. I just wanted to be real for the first time in my life. But who was that? And how do I find her? Maybe becoming yourself isn't about finding a new identity. Maybe it's about finally letting go of the performance masterpiece that is also called you. I thought that the hard part would be walking away, but it wasn't. It was what showed up after I did. And I'm going to talk to you about that in just a little bit. I've had to pivot before, but in the past, every time I tried to build a new version of myself, I would just reach for old tools, certainty, achievement, strategy. I'm in my 50s now. Those old tools don't work like they once did. I need to make a living. I'm not ready for retirement, both mentally and financially. I don't even know if I believe in retirement for myself. Not because I can't afford it, though, yeah, there's that. But also, for the first time in my life, I actually love what I'm doing. And it turns out the kind of work that I want to keep doing isn't the kind that drains you. It's the kind that finally feels like mine. I went all in on so many things when I got laid off and couldn't get an interview. I did Uber for a while. I tried selling my art on Etsy. I even monetized my toes and tried selling feet pics. Yes, I did, and I am admitting it here. It was the most unhinged thing that I did to earn money while unemployed. At one point, I was toggling between answering your comments and chatting with people who were watching a live stream of my feet. Normal day in the Hammond household. Honestly, if you ever find yourself wondering whether to sell your soul or your socks, I do one-on-ones. Book a time. I jumped in with gusto trying to find my new place on this earth, trying to carve out my spot again since my old one was gone. But it wasn't really gusto, it was panic, dressed up as enthusiasm with toe rings. And through all of it, my husband Doug stayed steady. He never blinked, not when I sold my art, not even when I sold my toes. Although, to be honest, Doug and I had so much fun doing the photo shoots. He was my little ride or die foot pimp. It was a trip. At one point during one of our shoots, I literally whispered, "Get it, girl," to my own ankle. He didn't need me to land anywhere. He just kept showing up like I hadn't failed, even when I was absolutely convinced that I had. So be honest, what is something unhinged that you have tried while searching for yourself? Now, I've already confessed my biggest secret here, so it's your turn, okay? By the way, just as a side note, I only made about $40 doing that feet thing, and I spent like $60 on toe rings, cute socks, and anklets. I was just trying to make my feet look available. Yeah, 1 star, do not recommend. I kept thinking that there'd be a moment where it all clicked, like I'd try something and it would stick, it would work, it would make enough money. But that moment never came. It still really hasn't. But what has come are smaller things, deep things, hard things. I just stopped selling the version of me that was always slightly dying inside. And what's left is still loading, but at least she has finally found her voice. 50 years of being who I was supposed to be, deleted. No backup. Smart, polite, capable, the kind of woman who could calm down a room, file the paperwork, and swallow the panic all before lunch. I knew how to keep the peace. I knew how to carry the weight. I knew how to disappear in plain sight as long as everyone else stayed comfortable. So, I changed my life into a form of adulthood that doesn't make me dread my life. And weirdly, for the first time in 18 months of being unemployed and out of the corporate grind, I kind of feel like I might be able to pull it off. But here's the thing. No one tells you that even after you drop that old mask, you still don't feel free. I still feel fake as hell. Like I forgot the script and everyone's watching me and I don't know my lines. I make content to help people and to make them laugh. I'm trying to build a plumbing business with Doug. And yeah, I still brace when good things show up, like maybe it's got the wrong address, but I'm also not flinching at my own voice anymore. I don't feel like I need a label to explain why I exist. And this is the only space that I've ever had where I'm not too much, not too loud, not too weird. This is mine. And I hate it that it took so many years for me to find it, but I really love that it didn't take one more. The scariest part wasn't losing who I was. It was realizing that no one ever knew her. I didn't just walk away. I walked right into the part that I was most afraid to admit. The truth is, I didn't reinvent. I stripped. No, not that. I didn't become something new. I stopped pretending to be what I wasn't. The version of me that could rally, charm, achieve, endure, she was a genius at performance, but was never at peace. She was running on deadlines and dread, but somehow people called it high functioning. She didn't need a calendar. She was the calendar, color-coded, overbooked, and 5 minutes from crying in the bathroom, but sure, thriving. Every color had a purpose, and none of them were joy. And when that version stopped performing, nothing replaced her. I didn't magically evolve. I just stood there, unlabeled, undecorated, unsure. Like a thrift store mannequin with one shoe and no head. Technically it was standing, but absolutely not okay. And that's the part I wasn't ready for. Being yourself doesn't feel triumphant. It feels disorienting and a little humiliating. Like realizing the costume that you've been wearing was actually sewn onto your skin. I looked around at the life I built, the roles I nailed, the praise I earned, and I thought, how did I not see it? How could I have missed something so obvious for so long? That's why I felt stupid. Not because I failed, but because I had succeeded at something that never actually fit me. But being myself, it's the most honest thing that I've ever done. So yes, I molted loudly, publicly, in front of all of you. Nothing like shedding your entire identity with closed captions in a comment section. You have seen my rebirth, and I've been humbled and blessed enough to see some of yours. I mean it when I say this is the only place that I have ever felt that I could be myself. I'm finding my tribe, and you're finding yours. We can be exactly who we are right here, every day, every moment, and that's pretty spectacular. We're like little emotional raccoons dragging our truths out of the garbage, blinking in the daylight. And cute. We're so cute. That's basically what my YouTube membership is, just a gang of emotionally unhinged geniuses dragging their feelings into group chat. It's chaotic, it's kind, and it's perfect. Join us. I am now finally at the point where I can make eye contact with kindness and embrace the power that's been in me all along, but I pushed it down to fit the mold that I thought I was supposed to be. I didn't become someone new. I stopped performing long enough to finally meet myself. And yeah, I'm weird and tender and occasionally feral, but I'm no longer edited. Not anymore. Turns out meeting yourself is a lot less eat, pray, love, and a lot more, what the hell now? I'm not fixed. I'm not healed. I'm not even sure what I'm doing every day, but I'm not performing anymore. And that's new. I know that there's irony here saying all of this while looking into a camera, shaping it into a story, but this doesn't feel like a performance. This feels like me. No polish, no brand, just me saying something true, trying not to sneeze or burp mid-sentence and hoping Posey doesn't start cleaning herself on camera again. I'm just trying to stay real even here. And that might not be a job title or a hefty paycheck, but it finally feels like something that I can live with. I don't have a 5-year plan, and I don't have a label that explains me. I'm just learning how to show up as someone who doesn't need to earn her place in the room. It feels so damn honest and so damn scary. I used to sell a version of myself that I didn't even like. Now I sell plumbing and the occasional trauma monologue, and weirdly, it's honest. For the first time in my life, I'm not trying to get back to anything. I don't miss who I was, and I'm not trying to define who I'm becoming. I just know that I'm finally not disappearing to make everyone else more comfortable. I'm taking up weird, tender space and staying loud about it. I thought the hard part would be losing who I used to be. It wasn't. The hard part was what came next, when I finally stopped performing and the world kept expecting a show. We need to talk about that, and we do so right here.